RK's Guyana Free Media presents for human development and national development this message.
Dearest beloved divine friends and families, Assalamu alaikum, Om Shanti, peace and blessings of God be with you. I am a peaceful soul. Namaste, Namaskar. I bow to the divine in you. Shalom alaikum in the language of Christ, Jesus, and Moses and Abraham of the Old Testament. Shalom alaikum, peace and blessings of God be with you. And a wonderful good morning, good day, good evening, as the case may be. Good night, as I give you this message from the Guyana Free Media. First, I will talk to you the message from presidential candidate of the PPPC, Irfan Ali, and then a presentation by Nagamutu, and then another part on COVID virus. Friends and families, I must state and remind you, as I do, we must always wash our hands properly. Make sure we wash our hands properly, our thumbs in between our fingers, in between our nails, between our nails, and the tips of our fingers, all around, minimum 20 to 30 seconds. And ensure that we wear our masks and protect ourselves and our families and keep away from people. Special systems needed to protect pensioners. Despite the danger of coronavirus, COVID-19, and the fact that senior citizens are particularly vulnerable, pensioners were still forced to line up in their numbers to collect their latest pension payments. There's a file photo which you may be able to see here as I move into the camera. A file photo of people in line, one after the other, not even an arm's length. A crowd of pensioners on April 1st, 2020, outside the border post office, Georgetown. That's the file photo. According to People's Progressive Party presidential candidate, Dr. Irfan Ali, it is necessary for systems to be implemented which caters for the elderly. Yours truly, I am commenting on this because I agree with that. I'm very disappointed, I must state, that the post office and the post office general, the postmaster, they did not think of these things. Also, the ministry or ministries of health should have thought of these things. We're dealing with our citizens, our most vulnerable, people in poverty, people in old age. They need to get their rights and they need to be protected. So I'm very disappointed with whoever should have been ahead of things. Of course, let us give credit and let us give some positives on it, in that they have lots to do and they were caught up in situations, especially the Ministry of Public Health, whose hands are filled at the moment trying to satisfy everyone and do everything. I'm happy to say with the Ministry of Public Health that now I see doctors are making pronunciation, guidance and advice instead of a political personality. According to People's Progressive Party presidential candidate Dr. Irfan Ali, it is necessary for systems to be implemented which caters for the elderly. In an interview with this publication, that is the Guyana Times newspaper, presidential candidate, People's Progressive Party presidential candidate Dr. Irfan Ali says it is necessary for systems to be implemented which caters for the elderly. In this interview, Ali suggested as one measure that the elderly receive advance payment for at least 2 months or 2 months at a time for this period. I'm added in that 2 months at a time. for at least 2 months, thus eliminating the need for them to even have to leave their homes. Pensioners form part of the most vulnerable group. What have been seen is no adjustment in the administrative mechanism, the presidential candidate explained. PPPC presidential candidate Dr. Irfan Ali, one of the things they could have easily done is for the period they have this lockdown, one check could have been written for the 2 months, he added. Back in March, the Guyana Post Office Corporation had urged citizens to refrain from visiting the post offices during the first 2 days of the month unless it is absolutely necessary, since vouchers can be cashed throughout the month. We must remember, friends and families, listeners, that these are old people. These are old people, and these are many people caught in poverty. And remember, it is old age pension that goes to all the citizens of Guyana, whether they worked or contributed or not. It's a gift from the government of Guyana to the elderly. And so I salute the government of Guyana of this era, this time, and the previous governments for they all were offering something. And during this era of the APNU and AFC government, the money was raised. Even though they lost their credit for the GPL and for the water, the sum was raised. So I give fairness, salute to the president and the leaders of Guyana. Back to the article by Dr. Irfan Ali in his interview. This had come in light of thousands of senior citizens who are usually congregated at the various post offices to access their pension payment every first and second day of each month. As such, GPOC had stated that it is working to implement a standardized measures across its offices in the 10 administrative regions to stop the spread of the deadly virus. GPOC had also said it will be enforcing a minimum distance of 3 feet between persons accessing services. Persons, according to GPOC, should be asked to sanitize their hands upon entry at post offices, and those who are coughing or have a cold will be provided with a face mask. Further, GPOC, Guyana Post Office Corporation, had stated that it will provide its staff with all the necessary resources to ensure that they are protected from the virus. But in spite of all of this, a crowd of pensioners still showed up at the border post office on April 1st. I showed you the photograph. The crowd did not practice social distancing, and I must add, I'm adding this, there was nobody there to help them or guide them or advise them, even though they knew it was the first. So don't blame the crowd and don't blame the poor old people. The crowd did not practice social distancing, and many did not wear face masks. At the head office, senior citizens were seen breaking the lines that preceded the opening of the office and refusing to heed the security officers in maintaining appropriate social distances. This resulted in a delay in the opening of the office. GPOC said in a statement following the criticism it received for the spectacle. Of course, my friends and family, they would come up with some kind of a defense because they erred tremendously. These things should have been put in place the day before, and when the people turned up in their numbers, there was nothing in place. Regrettably, while payments got off to a smooth start at the border post office due to a large turnout of senior citizens, there was a need for the security company to replenish the funds during the morning. This created a lull in the payments. Fortunately, an hour later, and with the assistance of additional police ranks called to maintain a safe distance between the smooth flow of payments, and it resumed. They also explained the corporation subsequently announced that it will be closed from April 9th until further notice. Wow! Post office closed from April 9th. This will be painful. But we have to protect our citizens and we have to protect our country, and maybe they have the reasons too. But what will happen with the people, if the authorities have thought about it, maybe things happen too quickly. I don't want to blame the ministry of that looks after old people pensions and so forth. because things happened very quickly, and obviously the checks were being in the system of being processed. But it would be best if they could make some arrangement in the future for people to be paid into a bank account, or to be paid twice or thrice yearly. The GPOC also said that as such, bulk mail will be accepted on April 16th and 17th, 2020, in which notices will be published and sent to the relevant agencies. The Post Office Corporation stated that the Treasury pensions will be paid on April 22nd and 23rd, 2020 at all post offices from 900 hours to 1500 hours. My advice at this juncture to the government of Guyana, to the ministry involved, is to try to pay the people at the earliest opportunity. Once you have their life certificates, put things in place so the people can be paid. I see the post office is saying they can be paid on the 22nd and the 23rd of the month, and that's a very good way forward. In the future, that the people be able to get 2 months ahead instead of 1 month. So I congratulate the post office for trying to put things in place now that they have learned. I don't want to give them flack at this time, for this is a learning curve, a learning opportunity, and we all have to try to embrace each other and try to support, help, educate, guide each other. So that piece was from the presidential candidate of the PPP. Now, Moses Nagamutu, Sabbath News, Wednesday, April 15. Nagamutu reports significant compliance with COVID-19 measures. De facto Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu has said that even 7 of the 12 policing divisions are in full compliance with the emergency measures ordered by the de facto Minister of Public Health, Volder Lawrence, to prevent the spread of the novel coronavirus disease. The other 5, he said, are around 98 to 99% in compliance. Of the 12 police divisions in Guyana, 7 of these divisions are fully compliant with the measures, particularly the curfew from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And the other 5, while you have 100% in 7 of these divisions, the other 5, you have 98 to 99% compliance, Nagamutu said. He made this disclosure on Saturday during a virtual press conference, which was held to update the media on the work of the National COVID-19 Task Force, which he chairs. On April 3rd, the government announced a 1-month countrywide 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew and restrictions on services except for those deemed essential. The emergency measures are being effected under an order in the name of Lawrence, pursuant to an earlier direction by President David Granger, given under the Public Health Ordinance. The measures, which took effect from April 3rd, are to be in place for just over 1 month unless earlier terminated. They were instituted amid growing fears that the COVID-19 pandemic could lead to as many as 20,000 cases here by May 5th. In the order, services which are deemed essentials include hospitals, healthcare center, medical services, including pharmacies, drugstores and private veterinary services, nursing homes, orphanages, shelters, and other related care centers, immigration, the revenue authority, electricity services, water supply services, the discipline forces, prison services, solid waste management service and janitorial services, air traffic control, Demerara Harbour Bridge, Berbice River Bridge, hotels and accommodation and factories, manufacturers and distributors of food, supplies, and essential goods, including medical supplies, where the Minister of Public Health has determined that the continuation of these operations do not pose a threat to public health. And I may add also security services, as far as I know, are allowed to render the necessary protection in the country. However, last Thursday, in an updated order, the government gazetted the revised measures and expended a list of essential services. The major difference between the two measures of services is the significant increase in essential services in the revised version, which is effective from April 9th to May 3rd. Previously, 13 such areas were identified, while the new measures identify 30, put the foot on the gas. Nagamoto explained that he has spoken with Commissioner of Police Leslie James and the de facto Minister of Public Security, Comrade Ramjatan, who advised him that a number of persons were arrested for breaching the measures. You know, people are really hard of hearing in this country. This is a time when you can destroy your family, your relatives, yourself, and other innocent bystanders. This is my commentary. And they need to comply with Comrade Ramjatan, the police commissioner, and the de facto Prime Minister Moses Nagamoto, who is the caretaker Prime Minister of Guyana at this time. We need to work as a people and watch out for each other and protect each other and help each other. There are cases where people have been charged, but they have not been placed in lockups. I can say this: these measures are contained within a lawful instrument. They have been signed by the Minister of Public Health, who has been authorized by an executive order by the President of the country, Nagamoto said. He noted that both James and Ramjatan have also indicated their intention to put a foot on the gas to deal with instances whereby persons are still seen gathering in numbers in the public for various activities such as fishing, creek lining, gathering in groups, birthday parties, and so forth. Nagamoto said that any persons who gathered in numbers more than the prescribed limit of 5 are in violation of the law. They will be arrested, they will be detained, and they will be charged. These measures become the law, and therefore they are punishable by whatever penalties are prescribed within the law. For me, the issue is not how much fine is imposed as a deterrent. The issue is to be able to arrest and detain those violators and make them accountable to the law. It's not the size of the fine, it's not the length of the imprisonment, but it's the fact that we are going out there to show that the law must be enforced. Nagamoto explained, I wish to state at this juncture I'm completely in agreement with the de facto Prime Minister and the caretaker Prime Minister Moses Nagamoto and the caretaker government that is in place since the election of March 2nd. The Prime Minister commended, that was my personal commentary, back to the article. The Prime Minister commended business proprietors and operators of the public transportation system for their cooperation in abiding with the curfew. If we want 100% compliance with these measures in the interest of all of our health and in the interest of safety and lives, he said. He also emphasized on the importance of social distancing. For my own guidance, social distancing is absolutely necessary, friends and families. We must follow the rule, follow the law, and follow our common sense, or suffer the consequences and destroy innocent lives. I want to emphasize that you have so far complied with the restrictive measures as it regards to social gathering, and I want to encourage you to continue to do so. As I said, you are contributing to the general welfare of our people. Thank you, Prime Minister Moses Nagamoto, for a pleasant article and guidance that is necessary in the country at this time. Let us be very careful, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters of Guyana. We cannot take any unnecessary chances and stay indoors as much as possible and be careful with our children. When you go home, take your clothes outside, strip outside, shower, and if possible with hot water. Sanitize yourself with liquids if you have to get inside. That is liquids with alcohol-based products to purify and clean yourself. Don't touch those children until you're fully washed down yourselves. Be careful. This is a harsh time. We must remember, friends and families, this disease is like an alien disease that infects our bodies, that infects our brains, our minds, and our hearts, and our kidneys, and our urinary system, our lungs, our nasal, and it hurts and it pains and it kills people in a destructive and devastating way. My friends and family, beloved divine brothers and sisters, we must be cautious and keep away. This disease starve and die when it can't penetrate our citizens. I repeat, the disease die when we keep social distancing and it can't find people to infect. It's like a foreign invader invading our bodies and our countries and our societies. We need to end this quickly. We need to take care of our family, our lives, and our country and each other so that our country could return and the world could return to normal economical standards and standard of living and our lives. Yours truly, your brother, Haji, Dr. Roshan Khan, saying thank you for tuning in and for a better you, a better me, a better Guyana, a better world, saying farewell, friends. Thank you.